Anyway, welcome back to a little Andertons TV video. It's Lee here. You can't see my face. It is genuinely me. I'll prove it. Here you go. Anyway, right. Headrush MX5. I wanted to try and show you why I think this is such a great little product on the offer that we've got at the moment, and why I think that the Headrush operating system and the touchscreen is just so intuitive if you're a guitar player used to messing around with pedals. This is a preset that I made in the last 20 minutes or so. What you can see on the touchscreen here is my signal flow. So my guitar goes in where it says in. I've got some pedals. You can see a blue pedal here called Dynacomp, a couple of pedals that aren't illuminated yet, a couple of spare blocks. I've got an amplifier and a cab here, and then I've got some pedals afterwards. And really, if you've ever put a pedal board together, you'll be pretty familiar with lining up your pedals like this. And what I really love about Headrush is just how easy it is to do it. There's a few things that you're going to see. I'm just going to play this one for a minute, and then I'm going to go to the next patch, and I'm going to delete everything and just show you how we might make one. But for this particular patch, let's just go in and have a look at what we've actually got already. So my amp is based on a 64 Fender Blackface Deluxe. I have what's called cab link switched on, so I don't have to worry about, you know, what cabinet am I supposed to be using with this, because it will just assign the correct cabinet. And you can see where these green lights are illuminated, that everything's pretty much at 12 o'clock. That's my amp and cab, which are just here. Pedals wise, I've got a compressor, an overdrive, two different overdrives, so very much kind of emulating the type of board I would put together. I've got a volume pedal here, and I've got delay, reverb, and a graphic EQ right at the end. The graphic EQ at the end isn't something I would normally do with an amp, but I'll show you why I've done that. In terms of moving stuff around, it's super, super simple. You know, if I wanted to say, actually, could I get the delay and the reverb the other way around, I would basically just drag the reverb and the delay, or drag the delay to where I want it to be, and it'll switch positions if there's something there already. If I just simply wanted to move, for example, the graphic EQ to one of the empty spots, I can do that. Super, super easy. You probably see that big red thing that comes up at the bottom about deleting stuff. I'll go into that in a minute. Now, I'm not going to change too much around with this, because this is the sound that I've created. It's going to start with a clean sound with none of the drives or the delay on. You're hearing the two direct outputs here into our interface, so all the speaker emulation and everything is coming from here. I'm not using a guitar amplifier in this video. Compressor is on, but you can see the green overdrive and the DC distortion are off. But what I have done is I've assigned them to these foot switches along the bottom. So you can see my JRC OD is going to come on and off here, DC distortion on and off here, bucket brigade delay over here. And again, I can show you how you assign those. You can give them different colors to, you know, make it more intuitive, whatever. So my normal, this would be the DC distortion I've set really low gain. Very dynamic. But I would probably just use that as a rhythm style. Then I'm using the JRC as to kick over the top of that. great sustain, sounds cool. Over here I've got my Bucket Brigade delay, set to a pretty subtle but quite a long delay. Okay, so that's basically the sound. Now, if you want to edit this, you can navigate through the screen using the main menu wheel. Hopefully you can see that green outline moving as we go through. But really, I guess where this product comes into its own, or where it differentiates itself, from most of the competition, is that it's touchscreen. So if I touch the bottom of each pedal, it's basically the same as switching it on and off. If I touch, where the actual foot switch is. If I double tap the top of each pedal, it opens up the menu to show me what the settings are for that pedal. So you can see my smooth crunch here is very low gain, flat kind of EQ, pretty flat everywhere else really. You can see along the bottom here, the reason it's red is because I've chosen the red color at the bottom. And actually if I wanted to change that, I can either press where it says DC distort and completely change the type of effect that's there, or if I just want a different overdrive pedal, I can just use this drop down menu here and we've got some other overdrive pedals. There's tons and tons, way too many effects in this for me to try and go through them one by one. Obviously you can go to the website and you can see all of that if you want to. The graphic EQ, interestingly, if I switch this off, the basic tone of this is like a lot of these effects units, I think, overcompensates for the bass end. Now, I don't know about you, but I think if you're used to using real guitar amplifiers, you never quite have that extra amount of bass end. Sometimes I wonder if these are where, maybe if you're using this through very small desktop speakers or whatever, you want that bass end back in. But you can see what I've done is I've placed a graphic EQ right at the end. I've left it completely flat, except I have rolled the bass end down a little bit. So, and this is the difference it makes. So I just think it just makes that. For the speakers I've got in here, it's a much more natural sounding graphic EQ, EQ response. There is, if I wanted to, I've done that specifically for this patch. If I wanted to, I could go into global settings and there is a global EQ. So if I found that every single patch was too bassy, I could just do it globally rather than with a pedal. So look, I really like that. I'm going to come back to this page in a minute and noodle over a loop that I've made using the Headrush MX5. But for now, let's go to the next preset. I don't want to save any of those changes. Okay, this is just called Personal Guru. Got no idea what this is, but what I'm going to do is just very, very quickly delete all of the stuff that's on this. I could have just gone much higher up in the presets and found a blank one anyway, but I thought I'd show you how all this works. So first thing that you're going to do is elect to what is your pedal setup going to be. Is it going to be this sort of parallel thing, summing a load of effects into an amp at the end? This is the normal one, guitar in, pedals, boom. That's what we're all used to using most, but you have got a couple of other options here. I'll be completely honest with you, I never use anything other than the simple one. So the first thing we're all going to want to do is choose an amplifier, and because I know I'm going to want some pedals in front and some pedals behind, I'm going to just pick a block that's kind of in the middle somewhere. So here's my choice. I'm going to press amplifier, and I have got absolutely zillions and zillions of amplifiers to choose from. If you go to the Headrush website, it lists all these out. I think there are 55 or something as per the latest version. My first one was a Fender one, so let's do something Marshally, but I'm going to stay fairly clean. I think I'm going to go for a JTM style. Now, again, I've got Cab Link on, so it's automatically suggested a cabinet for me. Oof, it's quite loud. Let's just turn that volume down a little bit. Okay, just like the amp would be, I've got a normal volume and a high volume. So let's just take this high volume down a little bit. In fact, we'll take them both down a little bit. Say fairly clean on a Marshall. Okay, so there's my basic amp and cab, and you can see it's fitted in the cab. Next for me, of course, is I want some reverb. So let's just find my, where have we got reverbs and delays here. Loads of different reverbs, air reverb, 11 reverb, spring reverb. I think I had an 11 reverb on the Fender. Oops, I've just chosen the wrong one. Let's try let's just go for something old school. Default stereo spring reverb. Well, that's a little bit short for me, but I don't mind the sound of it. So what can I do here? I can, oh yeah, look, I can massively increase the decay, which is what I want. Maybe a little bit less mix there. Can elect to have tails on or off when I change patches. I mean, I'm not really going to be doing that, so probably not much point. Do we like that? Here's a little bit bright. Let's maybe take the tone of that reverb down. I'm going to rattle through this because I kind of, you know, you're going to spend way longer than me putting your own stuff in. Sounds fine. Right, now we've got to try and layer up some effects that are going to come before. So let's maybe just, what should we have first? Let's have something, obviously, yeah, I'm going to go straight in with some distortion. We've got everything from boosts through to fuzzes and bit crushers and all kinds of stuff here. So what are we going to do? Super overdrive, S1, is that what that stands for? So what about, and again, if you don't really understand any of these words here, you can always just pick the default one. You can see now as I've whacked in more overdrive, it's maybe making the reverb just a little bit too much. There we go. So just turn the mix of the reverb down. Back to my S1 drive. To be honest with you, I'm not massively familiar with the... I'm not massively familiar. Yeah, it's obviously a Boss Super Overdrive, isn't it? I don't own one of those. It's not... What are some other settings here? Let's have a little look. What if we do full drive? Oh! But that's not how I normally, you know, I normally have like a light drive. There you go, that sounds good. A light drive, and then I might put something in front of it or after it just to sort of stack something up. I would quite like some fuzz, actually. Let's just see, fuzz is normally hard, right? So, in fact, let's just turn the S1 drive off for the time being, and let's put, what have we got here? Tri-fuzz, round fuzz. Well, that's going to be like a fuzz face, isn't it? Hot. Oh, it's actually not a bad little fuzz sound, that one, but I don't know if that's what I want, so let's just see what other fuzzes were there here. What was the tri-fuzz? Beef. Beef. Ah, yes, a big muff. That's fun, but you know what? I don't know if, well, you know, that's the whole point of this, right? I'm going to build it like a pedal board. So I'm going to have a fuzz, an S1, and then I have another, you know, let's just put another one in here. Another, we could just go, let's try a K drive. Let's try a light K drive, but I'm going to go into the S1. Now, interestingly, you'll notice here all the default colors for drive pedals are yellow. So if that in itself is going, I'm a bit confused now, all you got to do is say, well, look, I want my fuzz pedal to be purple, and I want my K drive can stay, no, let's change the color of this to sort of, I don't know, green, No, that's going to confuse me. Red, it doesn't really matter. And now I've got 3 different colors of drive pedal, and if I assign the foot switches to these, the foot switch will light up the same. That's pokey, so let's just take the level down a bit, maybe the drive up a bit. You can see here I'm swapping between either using my finger to drag up and down or using the encoder. So that's what I would normally do, right? I'm going to use the K drive to give me like a lead solo sound over the S drive. Should we put some chorus in? I mean, again, I'm not a big modulation user, but let's put some in anyway. Oh, we've got loads of stuff. Maybe air tremolo. What's that going to be? Default stereo. Let's have that a little slower and a little, actually it doesn't need to be, it's pretty deep already, isn't it? I promised I wouldn't do this. I should just be literally picking up what I want and just moving on, but no, I think I'm going to have tremolo. What do I want here? Crikey, there's so many different ones. Let's just do default. You get the idea, right? You can put in as many, well, not as many. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 blocks. So your choice of whatever 10 pedals you want. Let's put some delay in because, of course, that's important. You probably noticed as well we had all sorts of other funky effects in here, octaves, etc., including an effects loop. So you would, on the back of here, you'd plug your favorite pedal into the send and return here, and then one of those blocks you'd assign the effects loop, and it would only then engage the effects loop when you wanted it. What did I say I wanted? I wanted delay, didn't I? So let's try... Let's just try some dyna delay in stereo. Oh yes! You've got to put your headphones on to hear this. That is a bit over the top though, right? We don't need as much as that. So we'll turn the mix down, we'll turn the feedback down a bit. Pretty cool though. Do you know what? I'm not even sure I want the stereo. It's all probably a bit too... There you go. I've just gone boring, straightforward. So look, you can see now pretty quickly I've created my pedal board here. Obviously, I did spend longer doing the first pedal board. I'm just rattling through this to show you how to do this. I'm going to just change the color of this as well, just because I don't want my reverb and delay to be the same color. Right, now you can see it's defaulted the 3 foot switches across the bottom to be amp, cab and spring reverb, which isn't very useful because I'm never going to want to turn my amp on and off. So let's just quickly do this hardware assign thing. So I'm going to make the first pedal be my, what would I really want? Let's do the K drive. Oh, sorry, I didn't do that, did it? K drive on. Then we're going to do the S drive on, and then we're going to do the delay over here. So we've got dyna delay on. Okay, so now you can see that my 3 pedals here are those pedals that are in the row, if that's what you want. So we can go from a, let's turn the delay off, we can go from a clean there we are. Look, that's essentially how you make your own patch. If I'm totally honest with you, I think I've done, right, I'm gonna, should I save those? No, I'm gonna discard that. I didn't really want to keep that. So this is a better example, I think, of a good sounding patch if you take a little bit of time putting it together. Some of you might have been asking, can you turn on multiple pedals at the same time? So let's go into that a little bit. So I'm in what's called stomp mode. So I've got the 3 foot switches are going to do 3 different effects. I can elect to have different scenes rather than stomps. So these 3 foot switches would stay within this preset, but as I hit this one, it might elect to turn 3 different pedals on and off. If I hit this one, it might turn the different 2 pedals off or whatever. So you can make that more sophisticated. But your basic options are a stomp mode, a rig mode, and a hybrid mode. Right? Stomp mode is what we've been in. Rig mode is now a traditional, these are my 3 presets, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm using these 2 together or these 2 together to go up and down 3 banks. All right, and then hybrid, which is this one over here, is a combination of that. So I can go up and down through my presets, or they call them rigs, and then I've got essentially 1 pedal here to turn on and off an effect or change a scene if I want to. So I'm just going to go back to stomp mode, which is where I was before. There is a really good tuner. It's probably a good time to see if I am actually in tune. Look at that, I am. Am it? I would be if I had my volume turned up. So you can see, nice visually easy to see tuner with the option to mute the signal when I'm doing it like that. So let's exit out of there. And then the looper is, well, it's not the last part, but it's the last important part. I mean, there is tons of other stuff within the sort of, global settings and things. You can start changing the names of your rigs and changing the order of them and all that kind of stuff. So, but look, hopefully this is a good little, relatively short demo of how this works. I'm going to go into my loop, which I have already programmed in. Come out the loop, so I'm back in the, and if you're wondering what the chords are, it's B minor 7, A, down to like a F sharp to the G, and the F sharp is, can you see that? It's where I play a D chord with my thumb on the F sharp. And let's noodle over this. There you are, ladies and gents. I apologise to Taylor if that was more than the 5 minutes I promised it would be at the beginning. But that's the MX5. It's been reduced from nearly £500 down to $299. We've got a bunch to sell. When they're gone, they're gone. But I think that is a super little unit for the money. And I think you'd all have a lot of fun with that. So there we are. Onwards and upwards. See you in the next video.